Okay, I want to talk about nutrition. So, the reason I am talking about nutrition and not diet is because when we use the word diet, we often associate it with a temporary change in nutrition, right? And what this means is we go on a diet and we try to cut calories perhaps in order to lose weight to eventually reach a goal weight, right? And the result is when we reach that goal weight, we go off the diet. But here's the problem is that if you go off the diet, you're just going to gain the weight again. You're going to go back to your old habits. Okay? You never actually created long-term habits that are going to keep you from gaining the weight back. So that's why I like to frame it as nutrition instead. We need to make a nutritional lifestyle change if we want to lose the weight that we were trying to lose, if we want to become healthy, right? And 40% of the country is obese, and the point here is that if we want to actually become healthy, we have to make lifestyle changes again. So how do we make those lifestyle changes in a sustainable manner? Well, again, don't frame it as a diet. Instead, you have to literally change your habits, and that's hard to do. It's very hard to do if you've been eating in a certain way for your whole life. If you've been eating highly processed foods your whole life, and now you're going to try to flip that on its head, that's the problem. That's what a diet is. It's when you decide, oh, I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to quit cold shoulder tomorrow, and I'm going to eat healthy from now on. It's not going to work. You need to make slow, sustainable changes. And the way you do that is, rather than eliminating stuff from your diet, think about it in a different way. Instead, think about adding stuff to the diet, the healthy stuff, right? And what'll happen is that healthy food, along with the fiber and the micronutrients that come in that healthy food, they will push out the space you have for the unhealthy stuff. Okay? So to tell you what this looked like for me, I started eating iceberg salads. Just, icebergs, like practically water, right? Maybe there's some other stuff in there, but it's not the healthiest lettuce. But I started eating iceberg salads, and then over time I started, I replaced the pasta with whole grain pasta, and then I added some more veggies onto top of the salad, cut back on the cheese and the croutons, and then over time I let's switch to romaine lettuce, and then I started buying the spring mix and the spinach, and then you start buying the broccoli, and over time, as you replace your diet with these fibrous foods, as you put these fibrous foods into your diet, plant-based whole foods, what happens is you lose space for all of that processed food. And in addition to that, you actually start feeling a lot better, and you start to crave the healthy food. And I know that may sound crazy, but it's actually true. When I go to eat at night, it's like, oh, I gotta get the salad in me, I gotta get the veggies in me. And I still eat pasta, I still eat junk food from time to time, but the point is that it's a lot lower of the percentage of overall calories than it used to be. And again, the reason this happens, the reason this fibrous food allows you to do this, is because when you are eating the highly palatable processed foods, what you're really eating is macronutrients, right? You're eating fat and carbs, and to a lesser extent protein. And that's the thing, we strip and also you're missing the fiber in those highly palatable processed foods. So when you strip the protein and the fiber and the micronutrients out of these processed foods, that's everything that your body actually wants to function optimally. You get plenty of fat and carbs, you get plenty of those two macros in this processed food. And what you don't get is the fiber, the protein, and the micronutrients, which are the things that are the best at creating satiation, okay? They're the things that are best at turning off the hunger signals. And that's why this processed food, that's why you can overeat this processed food into a state of bloat, right? I mean, there's been plenty of times where I order the pizza, the cinnamon sticks, and then, oh, there's some Doritos, eat those, ice cream. You can just eat and eat and eat. You can eat to the point of where your stomach has no room for food left, and you're still hungry somehow. And the reason you're still hungry is because your gut never created the chemicals that shut off the hunger signals, that are supposed to shut off the hunger signals. Now, there's certain signalers that are created in your gut when you eat the right foods, particularly fiber and protein, that again shut off the hunger signals. And if you don't eat them, the hunger signals never shut off. And then if you're like the average American household, where 75% of the calories consumed is highly palatable processed food, then you're going to eat the processed food because you don't have any of the healthy food. And in all likelihood, actually, if you are a household that it eats mostly processed food, more than 75% of the food in your pantry is processed, because the people who make up the 25% are probably have 90% of the food in their house is probably healthy food, right? And whereas you're kicking up that average to 90%. So you might have an apple or a banana sitting on your counter, and that's it. Meanwhile, what your body really wants is micronutrients in order to shut off those hunger signals, in order to make your body function optimally in your brain. Okay, so I don't want to try to force you into any particular diet. That's not the point here. But it is important to note that plant-based foods are really the key here. And the reason is because of the fiber and the micronutrients that come in those plant-based foods. Okay, so a whole food plant-based diet is going to enable, if you replace the processed foods with whole food plant-based stuff, it's going to make your body function better, and you're not going to be craving all of those processed foods all the time. So the point here is that, again, slowly replace that junk food with healthy food, and then the healthy food, the junk food, will be pushed aside because you're not hungry for it. Your body is going to function better. And this process takes a long time. It may take 6 months to grow a tolerance to fiber. That's the thing. If you never eat any fiber and you eat a giant salad, it might destroy your gut. You're going to feel like crap. But again, that's because you tried to quit cold shoulder and jump to this healthy diet. Don't do it like that. Instead, again, slow changes. Add 5 grams of fiber to your diet daily per week. So like 1 week you have 5 grams on average, and then the next week you bump it up to 10 grams, or maybe even less, maybe 7 or 8 grams, 10 grams, 12 grams, 15 grams, and so on. Your gut has to adjust to the food you eat, and if you don't allow it to adjust, it's going to attack you. Your gut is only good at digesting the things that you normally eat. And the thing is that I eat 90% of the diet, my diet is plant foods, and I can also eat the junk food and have no gut problems because of it. Because the truth is the diverse gut microbiome that comes from a plant or a plant-based diet, a diverse plant-based diet, it actually covers all of the microbes that you need to digest the processed foods. It doesn't work the other way around, because again, it's the diversity of the gut microbiome that you're looking for. There's a study out there that says you want to optimize gut health, you want to eat at least 30 plant-based whole foods a week, 30 different plant-based whole foods, and that can mean different whole grains, different whole grains, fruits, veggies, spices, even nuts, legumes, and I think that's about it, right? So the point is to aim for that 30 number or more, and your gut microbiome will function better. and it will turn off the hunger signals, and you won't be so addicted to food all the time. I know exactly what food addictions feel like. There was a time in my life where if I bought 2 bags of Doritos because they were on sale, I couldn't make it through a day without eating both of those bags of Doritos. They would disappear in one day, and it sucked because it's like I like to enjoy Doritos every now and then, but if I eat 3,000 calories of Doritos every time I buy them, it's no good, right? And the same applies to some other junk food, right? It's the you have to understand that the healthy food, it's not just there. It's not some. There's a reason. Your grandparents told you to eat your veggies. It really does help you, and if you've never stuck to a healthy diet for more than a week, that's a problem because your gut microbiome doesn't adapt in a week. It takes months. It takes 6 months, a year even. If you eat these healthy foods, though, your gut microbiome will start producing serotonin in the way it's supposed to. Okay, 95% of the serotonin in your gut, or is produced in your gut, right? And for every one signal that your brain sends to your gut sends 9 signals to your brain. The implications of this are huge, okay? What it really means is that we truly are what we eat. And if your body is not producing serotonin optimally, then you're going to depend on dopamine boosts from processed foods or from alcohol or other drugs or gambling or other addictions. We really are what we eat. You have to eat healthy if you want to function well. So my the happiness chemicals like dopamine and serotonin, if you become dependent on dopamine, you're going to become dependent on dopamine rushes, right? Whereas if you're eating a healthy diet, serotonin is just pumping through your body all the time, and you feel great because of it. And I mean that. I do mean that. It's like you have a dopamine rush all the time, and that may sound crazy, but I swear to God, that's how this works. You have to eat the healthy foods, and what'll happen is you'll become less dependent on these unhealthy addictions that basically supply dopamine rushes to your brain, right? And it doesn't mean you have to completely give these things up, but you'll find yourself giving them up because you don't need them. And that's the cool thing. It's that you're not actually giving them up, like you're voluntarily giving them up, and you may not even think about it as much. So just get your diet in order, and in conjunction with that, exercise is great too. Exercise, it helps helps your body get rid of toxins that we eat. That's what sweat is for. We sweat, and our body kind of burns off. It gets the autophagy kind of cycles out the old dying cells, and it helps your body stay healthy. It really is simple. You just have to accept the fact that the old wisdom of eat your fruits and veggies is kind of true. It's not kind of true, it's very true, okay? We are what we eat. If you eat the healthy food, you're going to go outside, and all of a sudden, like, this pollen's going to stop bothering you. You're going to breathe the pollen, and you're like, why do I not have seasonal allergies anymore? Well, it's because you're eating you're eating the plants that literally live around you. And there's a thing about, people say if you eat locally produced honey, it helps your allergies. That's because that bee is pollinating with all these different plants, and and then they make honey, and you're basically eating like a kind of like an effect. It's like an elixir. It's like a medication for these allergies. You have to understand that we evolved on this planet in nature, and if you separate yourself from the nature and you start eating highly processed foods, nature's going to attack you, okay? And the same goes for exercise. If you're constantly running on a treadmill in a filtered, air-conditioned gym, and you never go outside into a national park, or you never breathe any of the forest air, or the air, in the national park, your body's not going to build up an immunity to those toxins, and then you're going to leave your house, and every time you leave your house you're going to get these terrible allergies. It's like you have to expose your body to the world, and when you do, it builds up immunity to things. Obviously you don't want to take a huge dose of pollen straight out of a 9 to 5 job inside a drywall enclosure, right? But you expose yourself little by little to this stuff. Again, take a 10-minute hike every day. Add a little bit of fibers, plant-based foods to your diet, and over time do these things. Increase the amount of time you spend in nature, increase the amount of foods you're eating that grow out of the ground, and you're going to feel so much better. Your reality will change, and I mean that. It's hard to believe that, but things will happen in your brain that you might not have thought were possible. You might not have. There's wisdom in evolution, and if you embrace it, you'd be surprised what your brain can do. So thanks for watching.